Today, C uh, is going to share polarity. And I know there was a little like, do I really want to do this? And I encouraged her to like, this is a great place to just, polarity is in your blood. You just, it's like your DNA, how you were brought up. So I think this is a great place to do that. And are you still up for it? C, do you feel like you want to do that?
Yes, I told you I would.
Okay, great. Great, great,
Thank
great.
you so much for your encouragement. Okay, hi everybody. I'm C. Cummins, and I was born Cynthia Cummins, Cynthia Ann. And so when I studied polarity, the teachers, I went in and I'm C. I'm C. Cummins. I'm C. I went in like that because it was sort of a rite of passage name that I had taken on in my teens when I was living on an organic farm with a bunch of, we were like raw vegan musicians and artists. And so in Southern California, but it didn't give me a lot of, I wasn't real grounded, and I had a sort of a pull to intoxicants and things like that. And so when I found the polarity teachers in this place called Murrieta Hot Springs, they were like, hey, and as eventually as they had this counseling kind of guidance, they had health practices, because I was just coming from knowing nothing, although I was organic and I was all the lifestyle iridology, reflexology. I had studied all that as a kid. I was already attracted to yoga, meditation, but yet I was still like smoking weed and all this stuff. I was smoking a big doobie on the way up to the resort where they were teaching this. It's like I had a 5-month-old baby who was staying with my mother, and she found this place. She found it. It was called Healing Yourself, the Healing Place. It was called Healing Yourself in Your Family programs. And I was having trouble with my husband, just being, he was like a small time kind of dope dealer. And I wanted to get out of that and get into more Indian art. We had the small baby. But anyway, so I driving up, smoking this big doobie. So they're like, okay, these are the rules though here. We don't do that stuff here. And I remember the intake of Anna Chitty. So I just wanted to bring that up because you kind of come into polarity. You can come in with just as you are. It meets you where you're at. And so the first class was like, with the intake, well, they'll ask you your sun, moon, and rising sign, and more about like things about your family and your history. It's a long intake form. I kept that because I was going to a 5-day retreat, but it led into a 4-week basic, and that was their basic program. Then they had a 6-week advanced, and they had a 3-month holistic practitioner, all living at this hot springs where you eat vegetarian, there's no alcohol. They ask you to observe a moral lifestyle and just literally ask you to do that while you're on the property. And they ask you while you're doing their programs to observe it, even if you're off the property, not to smoke, don't drink, stay in a moral relationship if you're with that, and to observe vegetarian, no eggs. But the first day when we did the polarity therapy was developed by Dr. Randolph Stone, who was born in Austria, and he ended up coming to the United States at a very young age. And I learned this at Tracy's class, that I didn't realize that he was born and they thought he wasn't alive when he first came out. And I just, find that the point that Tracy made was that there is a thing, what about having a near-death experience while you're being born? That was what was going on there. Maybe he was like in the light for a bit and just was a special soul, because as they were preparing to bury him, he took a breath and came to life. It was animated, so had a message to bring, that's for sure. But the first thing that we usually do is, what they did with me at this resort, was do polar energetics, exercises of energy. And so I'm not sure how we would do. Hi, Zorka. I'm not sure how we would do this now, but it was called the pyramid. So if you want to try at where you're seated, just to get yourself a little bit where you can bring your knees apart more. You can even do it in your chair. You kind of push your knees out and lean forward. You can try it just the way you are. You don't have to do the whole pyramid, and you can kind of push your shoulder blades together. It just feels good that was the first thing we would do instead of just be like talking and sitting in chairs about stuff. We just start noticing energy from your own body. And it was Peter. I remember Peter and Yvonne. I don't think I don't think they're involved in polarity now, but anyway, because what happened was my pants completely ripped across the seat. It was like it just split the seat wide open. It was like, and that's how it kind of did to my life, because it needed splitting. It needed splitting. And so, yeah, that was really special. Polar energetics, they help you feel your body. They're really using postures. Dr. Stone traveled around the world many times. Well, he said 3 times, I guess, in total, but studying other cultures of longevity and health and wellness and medical energy systems like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, but also Egyptian Hermetic wisdom. And he was involved in the Theosophical Society. He was a meditator and had a discipline that he did. So he brought together, for example, a squatting posture was women in India that cook that way. They're cleaning and cooking, and it's something children do when they're playing. So it turned out, there's a chart on it, that as you squat, you're bringing your body together, and all the energy of the cosmos is getting stimulated to circulate and push energy through. So by that I mean, if you're new, I know here in this audience, everyone's not completely new to it, but if you are completely new to it, imagine all the different astrology signs are placed on part of your body, going down from Aries, the head of fire, Taurus is the earth of the neck. So that's why you can get sore if we get too rigid or stubborn. When we're flexible, that's a good kind of stable staying power with earth. Every area of the body has its own, if you will, emotion or characteristics. Shoulders of Gemini. So those could be heart, Cancerian, nurturing. So going down the whole body, all the way down. I love that. And as a practitioner, or just even as with self-awareness, it helped me and my family, my mom and my sisters and my brother all went to the programs and at this hot springs place and started, I think had a lot of support to kind of process and be seen. I think that's really neat about a polarity teacher. That maybe for the first time in your life, you feel seen, because I don't know. I think that's kind of amazing. And I think that the soul was really important to Dr. Stone, and it was more about how the soul is stepping down into matter. And so through body work and forms of dietary cleansing and dietary nourishment, and body movement exercises, and then through types of guidance that are more cosmological, that are based on concepts of the soul wanting to seek out a purity, but yet all these other the forms of polarity, night, day, good, bad, up, down, dark, light. Those were more opportunities for soul expression and to work out something, work out karma, or to seek to return to source. So that did heal our family. It didn't save our marriages. kind of both my marriage ended up not working out. My husband came down and tried those programs for a while, and yet it just, it's not like it did. Each individual still had their own path that they had to go through, but it certainly helped us navigate through and make better choices. That was certainly a better choice for me. So I think polarity therapy can help a person to have self-awareness, process trauma, and grief and confusion, and have some guidance with the structures and the health practices, because you begin cleaning up what you eat, what you put in your body. I remember when I went up the property one time and I smoked a cigarette, and I remember Yvonne taking me aside, and she was very serious. And I was like, whatever, what. She's like, hey, we just don't do that here, because it's not possible to love yourself if you're putting that in your body. That's just not loving yourself. So we asked, are you going to do it again? She's like, I was going to have to leave if I didn't commit to it. And so they were very serious about it. And I was like, well, okay, no, I won't, because I didn't want to leave. Another thing I had too was that thank you, Rosa, on my property, because I had been involved in growing pot and stuff like that in the woods and the mountains of Northern California. I had a bunch of like guns and stuff, too. And to me, it was normal kind of. And I had them not on the property, but it kind of, one time I was in the teaching office talking to Anna, and it kind of came up that I had some guns, and she was just so like, I just hadn't met people that had these like boundaries, that were loving and kind, but just saying that's like not okay. And also because my parents didn't know that I was storing them in a shed on their property too. She's like, your parents don't even know they're there. You need to like get rid of them, or just don't be here. And she didn't even do it in like a way that was mean at all, but it was quite life-changing for me, because I made that choice. And at first I think I was mad and I was going to leave, and then I was like crying, and my little baby was doing so great in the children's group that I chose to get rid of him. And it was just an example of violent baggage. And I think that I learned to, in polarity, like a non-violent, that ahimsa is the Indian term, just as much as you can, because everything causes karma, whether you eat a carrot, or whether you give something good to someone or take something back, all of it creates some sort of karma, debt, or something you're owed, or you're living. So I would say that was a way, learning polarity for me was a way to begin shedding baggage and karma that I didn't need to carry, through the body work they give me, and just being told, hey, I think could be a really special lady, and just while they're holding your head, like stuff like that, like just someone as a mentorship that in our world we don't have, and that leader is also living their truth. It's not just a job they show up to. I think that what I got from that, and what I like to teach and share, is why I created this program called Polarity in You, with all kinds of like colorful graphics that are fun and bright. Is I create as the first chapter that I think is part of what's going to be APP, is they say is lifestyle, because before you become a practitioner with polarity therapy like Dr. Stone, like, you do clean up your act, if you will. You just, in many ways, as many as you can. It's not to be perfect, you're a saint and you're never going to cuss or like that again. It's just that it's a way that makes it safe for your soul. And this is called creating a healing environment. And that was when I visited Isabel and Gary and Tracy and Anna Chitty and my teachers, and their homes have crystals and a beautiful and peaceful environment. It has essential oils and a place that you can a refuge and a sacred space. And I think that that is, for me, what polarity therapy offers, is a way to create your life so that you can bloom and flourish. And so I think that's, there's a lot of details about it, because there's a lot of different recipes and foods to eat, and how to seasonally maybe clean and flush your body. And Dr. Stone had a purifying diet pamphlet that I don't know if it's in print anymore, but it's a wonderful little regime. It's very simple. And then there's the health building book. So you learn how to combine foods so they can digest properly in a better way, and they're lighter but yet nourishing. And for maybe more of your staples. And there's many energy exercises for different, if you're constricted, how to open up, because it's hard to feel depressed if your shoulders are back, and do a cliffhanger and ha breaths. And these are ways to kind of contradict or confront a person's patterns. And you can see it in our bodies. Each person, where we hold it, where are we holding this, holding things and emotions and life events. So the body work and the body movements help to open up and move energy where it's blocked. That's one of Dr. Stone's premises, is that basically, to boil it down, that unwellness is an area of blocked or constriction. And that if you can assist and facilitate moving that energy, that those things will resolve. So, and last but not least, the counseling of the program, what I experienced with polarity therapy was like that saying, hey, this is a boundary. Like, is that loving yourself? Is that about love? Capital L. Having guns? No, it's not. Putting a bunch of smoke in my lungs? No, it's not really loving myself. So we're just not going to do that here. And if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to be here. But this is what I have to offer you. And I'm so grateful that they did. And I just want to thank you all for being in my life today and listening to my story here. And that's an introduction to polarity therapy. There is an American Polarity Therapy Association. We try to uphold the structures of the trainings and make sure that everything's covered and that we're sharing as much as we can in a uniform way here. And there's certainly many international polarity therapy organizations. It's very alive and growing, even though a lot of people that studied it are getting older and not as active. So it's wonderful. We want to share this with younger people and get more people, share this as much as we can and have it become known, even though it has really a lot of familiar things in it because it's from India and China. And so a lot of people know a lot about what's already in polarity therapy. It's not like completely new. It's just the way that it's structured and put together is unique, and it's very exciting. And so that's what I have to offer you today. And thank you so much for listening. Are there any questions or comments? That I know I've missed quite a bit, so but let me know what you feel. Any questions or comments? I'll just turn it back over to Tracy.
Yeah, I would like to make a comment.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation and telling us your story of transformation, really, and your willingness to change, things or patterns, whatever you have or we can have in our lives that sometimes we don't even notice. But I know that stopping smoking and stopping the smoke is not easy. So with polarity and the help of the place where you were able to do that. It's amazing, and I really like any way that we can do this transformation and find more happiness and joy in our life to achieve our goals, to give more to people in service, whatever we want to do, really. But I really like it's a very nice story. I know that you continue in your path and you wrote your book, which is very, very nice. And yes, congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
Keep up doing the great job that you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much.
See, thank you. That was really, I love how your story was so personal, like really sharing your journey made me really interested in, hearing about the polarity therapy. I just really, I don't know, that just made it so personal. And I just loved your story and your journey. And I didn't know that about you. So I just really appreciate you sharing that. And I know what polarity therapy, is doing for me. And just so happy that you're going to be sharing this with others as well. Yeah. And as you went on in your presentation, you just became more and more locked and grounded into it. And it's kind of like I could follow your journey through your presentation. Because it started off like you, just in the beginning, it was just very kind of free form. And we could see that, as that sea coming in. And then as you got grounded into the work, like you just anchored it. It was really beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that.
Mhm.
See, I loved your story. I loved the presentation. And, just again, and Rosa said this too, the battle with cigarettes is, pretty challenging. And, I went through a similar journey, and I remember, teaching yoga and having a cigarette before that and going and brushing my teeth and then splashing myself with lavender oil and, sort of hiding it. It was my shadow work. I never looked at it as not loving myself. And so you said that more than one time in your presentation, and I got it on such a deep level of, instead of battling with addiction, and I looked at it like through different lenses, but it's never presented to me that way, or I never got it. And I got it really big with you, and it's just like relating to so many other things that I do, like that's not loving yourself. So thank you. Those words will resonate in my heart for a while, I'm sure. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks, Karen. Neat.
I'm so happy you did this presentation, see. I was wondering like who your audience is. And, I have my filter and I'm not going to go into like what I think, this, that, the other thing, but I will give you one suggestion. If you can have a diagram of maybe the baby in the astrology chart, or, something that we can see that ties in the astrology to the body parts. That part got a little away from me. I know it. And
Yeah,
like, if I can see it, it's probably in your book.
I do have it for tonight for my
Awesome.
class.
And I love I was taking notes. I love what you said. It meets you where you are. That, like, maybe I've heard that, maybe I've felt that, but not so quite pinpointed like that. That was amazing. And then when you said, about feeling seen and what that does for us, I'm kind of crying right now. So you've got some gems in there that are just wow. Of course we're recording this so you can see see. So good. I feel you. I feel the threading, the polarity, and I didn't know your story of how your journey was, and it's intriguing, and I'm really stoked for the people who are going to be that you'll be presenting for tonight. So congratulations. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, Tracy, because I was trying, obviously, Dr. Stone said where there's the most resistance, there's the most energy. And so that was one of the things that happened was last night I was saying, hey, I'm not feeling it. I started feeling all this to Tracy. I messaged her, I'm not feeling it. Everybody knows polarity. And then she goes, I really think you should do that. Like, no, you're not going to do astrology again. She's like texting me back. So yeah, and it feels really amazing that I did do it too. I can't believe what came out of me. Like, I don't even understand this, but
Well, just look what happened. You're talking to a bunch of polarity babes. Karen Meyer got something so deep from what you said about loving yourself. Like, one of the things about polarity is, this is so intriguing. You could ask 20 people, seasoned polarity therapists, what's polarity? You'll get 20 answers, and we're
yeah.
all learning from each other. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay. Last but not, I did want to say one thing. I forgot to go in the story that Tisa pointed out. Like, I was going to say that I had changed my name to C, but the teachers would say, let's go back to your birth name for a while. And so they, like, all these different certificates I got say C at the beginning, and then it started saying Cynthia because they wanted me to experience my birth name. I forgot to say that in the story. Okay, but anyway, thank you.
See, I loved that. Very often after experiences, especially if I don't have an idea of what I'll be experiencing, I get like silent at the end of them. It's just like ether. It's just like that spaciousness. And like Tisa was saying, like there was this trajectory. I feel like you took us through elementally your journey. It was like through your story of polarity therapy. And I don't even feel like we're at the end of it, but you took us through like the involution of it into your own body, in your own soul's expression. And the beginning, there was a lot of air, and there was some fire, and there was water and earth. And so that was really nice that it had that like holographic or fractal application of it. And yeah, thank you for sharing deeply. That's so beautiful. And polarity is such an important thing. It's like, for me, slowing down has always been the thing that I've needed to do. And I can get really impatient. And I'm still in that space of learning how to do that more for myself. And somehow, in hearing your story, there was like, I've created a spaciousness for allowing that. And so I want to thank you for bringing my awareness.
Thank you.
And you look so pretty today.
So, Kathy, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't actually remember that you were going to do that today. I didn't know what I was coming into. I couldn't come into it actually because I'm not on my computer. It's kind of a journey. So I really wanted to be here. And when I came in, and then I started to realize that this is what was happening. I didn't understand actually what was happening until like I started listening, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's deeper. It's kind of like made me remember what space I was in. So it was amazing. And when listening to everybody else that has experience in polarity is really connecting some things for me, just listening to their feedback to you, because it's like every piece of every person reflecting back to you about your presentation feels like it's connecting something back to what polarity really is about. And I really want to say thank you for sharing the depth of your story. I had no idea either. And it's like, as I continued listening to you, I felt like I was coming into this more clear place about it. It was getting like defined. And when you showed your book, it was like, wow. I mean, it feels like a huge piece of work, and it feels like such a grounded piece. And it's like, I want to see that book. It's like, you know, it's like, I want to see it because I feel like this is the grounding piece of this journey that actually came all the way down into this book. And that it's a place of like starting the evolution with this. So I think you have something tonight, and I'm so like wishing you the best to start sharing this from this place of groundedness inside of your own ways and own experience of polarity. Thank you.
Seems like you need to let us know where can we find the book.
Oh, okay. This is just, it's not published yet, but I made a book for my students the past 2 summers that I will. I think I will, you know, I probably will self-publish this. It's got a lot of writing still to do, but I mean, yeah, I just.
Finish it. It's going to be great when you finish.
Yeah.
Some people, they even start selling before finishing.
Okay,
So.
I know.
Yes,
oh my gosh.
I love your signature story. Well, for me, it's your signature story, kind of, and it's beautiful. Yes, just do it. Don't care about anything when you're sharing, like you did today. It's very nice.
Great. So how are we liking this, having people come and presenting? This is kind of cool. I love it.
I think it's very, very good idea, because maybe some of your experience doing presentations, or maybe not, but in any case, it's very good. And with the practice, we can master more what we do.
Keep the practice. Okay. So looking at next week, does anyone who hasn't yet would like to bring something to present? Did you do yours, Casey? Because did you do yours when I was in?
I didn't. But next week I'm gonna be away. I'm gonna be on the road, so it might not be a great time for me.
Okay. All right. I don't know if anyone else wants to. I have an idea that I could bring back, but nope. All right. Do you guys want to do? Go ahead.
Just if I'm on the call, I'll probably be able to at least do some sort of, lead us in a. I was thinking of doing a little bit of Tai Chi with oils, but I
in the airport.
Yeah, like I don't know where I'll be. It'll be 3 hours ahead, and I don't have any,
You don't know your Wi-Fi.
I don't feel grounded enough to say yes to definitely doing it, but
okay, all right.
Yeah.
In
May, I definitely will.
What, see?
Also, at some point, if there's a gap or anything, like I still didn't read Tisa or Rosa's chart, and they were interested in that. And it's sort of hard sometimes to find time after. If there's a way I could tie it into polarity therapy in their chart, then I'd be happy to give that a try. Give it a shot.
I love that. Cool.
My hand.
Well, Tisa won't be here next week. So,
right. Okay.
So if Rosa's up for that, you could tie that in.
I will be here.
You'll be here. Do you have anything you want to bring or share?
This is for
Are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Zorka, do you want to throw your hat in the ring?
Well, no, as I'm in Costa Rica, I need to focus on what's happening here. So I can't.
Okay.
I'm not available to that. Yeah.
No problem. So I was thinking, what if we do, how about you, Karen? I didn't ask you. Do you want to hop in? Okay, no. All right. So I was thinking we could do future pacing and quantum leveraging, which is pretty fun. It's just a way for all of us to like source through this exercise. We've been doing it in aroma yoga, and I can put you in breakout rooms and you can do it with each other. I can do a demo, have your oils, and then we'll go through it. You want to give that a whirl? Okay.
Good idea.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's
Great.
super fun.
And also
it's like a repeat for the people who like Tisa, you know what it is. I don't know. And Karen, we've done it a little bit, but I'll put my hat in the ring for future pacing and quantum leveraging for next week.
It sounds something like to really be aware of what you want in life and kind of thing.
And
And-
yeah, it's an exercise that you do with a partner, and we do it in aroma yoga. I learned future pacing from actually Polarity in the communication or evaluation class, and then the quantum leveraging I learned from someone on my Young Living team. And when you learn it and you can teach it to a friend, and you can future pace and quantum leverage each other like regularly, and it just gets you in the state of vibration of, you know, calling in what you're choosing to create. It's fun, it's easy, it's light, and it's enlivening. Yeah. So, okay.
Can I
Yes.
say one thing?
Yeah.
You know, just we were talking a few weeks ago about maybe changing whatever, and I think everybody agreed upon letting this be organic. The seeds that came up, interesting, I'm sitting in the dirt here, was so great. And just on listening to people, even from like Casey saying in the beginning about redoing this, recommitting, from listening to C's presentation and the way that it was so earnest and honest and heartfelt, it made me just recommit to, you know, my polarity work and some of the work that I do that I just really haven't been showing up for. And it's encouraged me or inspired me to show up. So that inspiration from C and the words from Casey together have created this like new vision for me, or revisioning. And I'm very grateful for the whole group. This happens to me every time, and I don't always say it, but everybody's got such a, you know, a gem and a spark that it's sparking me. It encourages and inspires. So thank you to everyone. Yeah.
See. Thank you,
Yeah.
C. You got some magical potency here. I'm so glad you went on that journey. I mean, you took us on your journey. Powerful. Thank you. All right, Kay.
Tracy, I'm glad I have you. I really do. And you're nudge. Nope, do that.
I'm not getting a yes. That's my new one when I want to say no, I'm not getting a yes. Okay, everyone. Thank you for your time, seeing your beautiful faces, and we'll see you from wherever you are next time, Casey. We'll quantum leverage, future pace. Enjoy Costa Rica. How long are you there till the?
At this point, until May 20th, if it doesn't change, because we need to have me stay longer. But and Denise is coming next Tuesday, so she might be on the call with me next time.
Yay!
Yeah. So yeah, it's a journey.
I'm so glad you're there. Costa Rica looks really good on you.
Enjoy your time. Yes.
Thank you. Thank
right.
you. Yeah, I would
Bye.
definitely. I could use. I mean, that's why I love coming and connecting. It's really a lot of shifts right now in our earth and relationship and letting go of things here. And I feel like it's going to make space for some very new organic ways of doing something in the world. So I don't know. Here I am. Thank you for all of your energies. It's so beautiful to be with such softness and love and understanding. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Love you.
All right.
Love you all.
Yeah. Until we see next time, keep yourself
ciao.
happy, healthy, and wealthy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
I'll hang, Trace.
Oh, great. Cool. All right. Bye, Karen. Let me just stop the recording.
Okay.